People underestimate a waitress in Idaho. They see the apron, hear the polite, "What can I get for you?" and assume my world stops at the county line. I let them. It's amazing the filth people will spill when they think you're just furniture. Last month, a team of German-speaking tennis players checked into our lodge, fit, wealthy, and completely insufferable. They barely touched the chairs before the complaints started. Not in English, obviously. They smiled at me, handed over the menus, and then ruthlessly tore my workplace apart in rapid-fire German. The decor? A dead animal's living room. The town? A miserable little American trap. The food? Probably injected with plastic. I stood there, pen poised, nodding, smiling the blank, helpful smile of a girl who only knows how to ask if they want extra ranch. What they didn't know? My mother is from Munich. I was speaking German before I knew the word apple. I could have shut it down right there. I could have snapped back in their native tongue and watched the color drain from their faces. But where is the fun in that? A quick sting fades. I prefer a slow bleed. They were booked for 7 days. 7 days of me being their dedicated, clueless server. Every morning they'd sit down, mock my uniform in German, and order breakfast in broken, condescending English. Loud enough. Comfortable enough. The ease of people absolutely certain no one in the room understands a word they're saying. And every morning I made sure their tickets fell to the absolute abyss of the kitchen queue. It wasn't obvious. I'm not sloppy, just a 15-minute drag here. A 20-minute technical error there, small enough to look like the natural chaos of a busy morning, consistent enough to matter. These were athletes on a strict metabolic schedule. They had court time. They had warm-up routines. They had Rolexes they checked obsessively, tapping their feet, getting frantic as the minutes stacked up. They'd complain to each other, in German, naturally, about the lazy, incompetent American service, about how a place like this had no business hosting people like them. They showed up late to their games, not dramatically late, just late enough to throw off the rhythm, break the routine, get into their heads before they ever picked up a racket. An athlete's morning is everything. The meal, the timing, the cortisol. I was in all of it. Wow. Quick pause right here. If you're hooked on how this is unfolding, take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps Calculated Move grow. Now back to the story. I'd walk over, apologize sweetly in English, and refill their water. Ice cold. On day 3, one of them, not the loud one, one of the quieter ones, looked directly at me while I was clearing the table next to theirs and said something to the group. Slowly, deliberately, looking right at my face while he said it. He told them I had the eyes of someone who understood more than she let on, that I made him uncomfortable, that they should be more careful. I set the plates down without breaking my pace, smiled, asked if they needed anything else. They laughed. Decided he was being paranoid. He wasn't. I controlled their schedule. I controlled their cortisol levels. I controlled their calories. And they had absolutely no idea. I was the architect of their miserable week, and I savored every second of it. By day 4, they had stopped laughing as much. By day 6, the energy at that table had shifted. Quieter, more irritable, the jokes shorter and the complaints longer. By day 7, they were broken, exhausted, running on frustration and bad mornings. They sat down for their final dinner and ordered the ribeyes. The loud one, the one who had set the tone from the very first morning, handed back his menu, smirked at his friend, and muttered in German, "Let's hope this idiot doesn't mess this up too. I'd kill for some decent potatoes instead of this American garbage." I finished writing the order, tucked my pen away. Then I looked up. I locked eyes with him. The blank, helpful smile didn't just fade. It evaporated. I leaned in, closing the distance into his personal space, and spoke in perfect, unaccented German. Should the chef prepare your steaks with a side of German potatoes? Or do you prefer the baked potato from the menu to suit your tastes? The silence wasn't just stunned. The smirk fell off his face like it had been slapped away. The rest of the table froze, statues in polos. I watched their eyes go wide, the panic setting in as they frantically rewound the last 7 days in their heads. Every insult, every dirty joke, every complaint about the town, the food, the decor, the girl in the apron who smiled and nodded and understood every single word. They suddenly realized the invisible waitress had been listening, watching, understanding. From day one, I held his gaze. I didn't blink. I waited for him to breathe. He swallowed hard and looked at his lap. The baked potato is fine, he whispered. In English. Excellent choice, I said. It'll be right out. They left that night without the usual commentary. No German, no smirks, just the quiet of men who had spent 7 days underestimating a room, and finally understood the room had been watching back. When I cleared the table, there was a tip that stopped me for a second. Generous, not accidental. Someone at that table made a deliberate decision. I looked at it for a moment and, I'll be honest, it landed. Not because of the money, because it meant at least one of them, maybe all of them, had enough in them to acknowledge what had happened without being asked to. No apology, no scene, just that. I respected that. More than they'll ever know. I pocketed it, wiped the table down, and moved to the next one.
Like and subscribe for more stories like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.